The Indiana Fever leave the Target Center in Minneapolis, WNBA Commissioner Cup champions. They get it done through the final 3 quarters en route to what was a 74-59 win for the Fever. They've held this annual Commissioner's Cup 5 straight years, and the league, how about this, has gotten 5 different winners. The Fever were trying to prevent the Lynx from becoming the first back-to-back champions, and they did, and it took a team performance. Earlier in the day, the Fever officially ruling out Caitlin Clark for this one. You kind of knew it based on everything we had seen over the last week and really over the last couple of days as she was limited in practice and such. But look, we saw in her video that was shared that she said, hey, Kathy, in terms of WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelberg, we're going to get that dub, and her teammates delivered for her and for the team, with 5 players finishing with 12-plus points. It took the collective for what Kelsey Mitchell said was a gut check. This was a gut check for the team, for this moment, for this season as well. And if you're them, you can really hope that this is the catapult for the rest of the season.
We need to have a turning point in our season, because so far this season, like our coaches have told us several times, the only full 40-minute game that we played was Seattle, and we won it, and we looked good. We looked like, we were on the same page, and then we were up and down again the next 2 games after that. So we're just trying to find our identity and keep playing. So we just, telling them nobody's expecting us to win, so we're gonna be able to play very free. So let's go out there, let's execute on both ends. Let's have confidence. Believe we can go do this on their home court. And I think, we all played we knew that we could come get a win on the road, and hopefully this mentality carries us forward.
Because to this point, not much has went their way. They've had players in and out, coach in and out. One player wanting to leave the team. You've had Ari McDonald, who's come in on a hardship contract. You've had her come back now on a rest of season deal. So this was an important game for the Fever, even though, much like the NBA Cup, the result does not matter in terms of standings. Along the same lines, the stats, you throw those out as well. But get this, because of this meeting, this additional game, the Fever will be playing 45 games this season, and 42 of them, as of now, scheduled to appear on national TV. But they had to do it without Caitlin Clark for the 8th time this season. And get this, because of the win, the players are now splitting a pot of $500,000. That is significant, especially for those end-of-bench players. But look, in a league where no one really makes more than $250,000, a $30,000 or $40,000 check here, that matters. And I loved what Natasha Howard told me post-game, saying, you know what, I'll probably deposit in my bank, invest it, and that's probably it. Sydney Colson said, hey, you nosy, what are we doing? So it was all in good fun post-game, where this is one where WNBA's gotta, and this is along with the Players Association, they've got to allow media back into the locker room, because you lose all the color, all the descriptions, and all the different things that you see and transpire to paint the picture for you fans at home about what went on. Social media is allowed in, but no one else for the post-game scene. So through all of that, and in talking to the team, there were all kinds of bottles of champagne. There was Truly's, there was Michelob Ultras, obviously a league sponsor as well. But
the champagne bottles started getting popped and just spraying everybody, having a good time. It's fun. We worked really hard to get here, and just happy that we're able to celebrate that win together in a room like that. And it was really fun to see a different side of people, for sure.
A lot of the girls went to party schools. I hate to say the white girls, but the white girls were chugging the beers. Cece's in there biting all the bottles for everybody, biting through cans and shit. But it was fun. Everybody, I don't know how to spring. I'm not a drinker. I don't know how to do champagne celebration. But they were opening them. The coaches were having a good time, chugging out of the Commissioner's Cup. It was fun. It was a good vibe.
They were popping bottles like they had just won a major championship. But I think this is a significant one because, remember, this is a franchise that has not won a playoff game since 2015, when we were back here in Minnesota covering the Fever at the Lynx, by the way. Stephanie White was in her first year as Fever head coach. Breon January was her point guard. Natasha Howard was a second-year forward for the team. And how about the performance for Natasha Howard tonight? It was a fun game, an emotional game as she came back to Minnesota. It's where she won her first of 3 WNBA titles back in 2017. And post-game with WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelberg was recipient of the MVP award. 16 points, 12 rebounds. She really asserted herself offensively and even more defensively, played with a great level of physicality as well, and I thought she was fantastic, and so were many others for this Indiana Fever team and their 74-59 win. Get this, when the Fever left for Minnesota, they were 6.5-point favorites. By the time the game got started, because Caitlin Clark was out, they were 11-point underdogs in this one. And look, that's why you play the game. You got to love that, and just a special opportunity for them tonight. And they didn't come here just to play in the game or just to appear on national TV. No, they came here to win it, and they absolutely played like it. The trouble in the first quarter was just shots weren't going down. They were missing some bunnies. It just wasn't going their way. I mean, you had Natasha Howard and Aaliyah Boston, I think, go maybe 0 for 8 to start the game from the field, but they each had 3 assists, so they found other ways to make a difference. Now, in this Commissioner's Cup, again, it's the 5th annual. It was notable. While it was a home game here for the Minnesota Lynx, they had a special court, WNBA logo, WNBA shadowed across it, so it was not a Target Center or Minnesota Lynx court nonetheless. But in this one, we saw this Fever team rebound from its poor start. It was a game in which they started with all those turnovers, 4 in the first 5 minutes, leading to 7 points. The Fever went over 7 minutes without scoring there, and only found themselves down, though, by 8. And at that point, then later, you get to the early second quarter, we saw the Fever go almost 10 minutes without scoring a field goal, and still they were in it. It was a 21-5 run by the Minnesota Lynx, and then the Fever kicked it into gear. Before you knew it, it was 27-25. They were within 2, and by halftime, the Fever went to the locker room up by 5 after the Lynx went more than 7 minutes, the final 7 minutes of the first half, without a bucket. And it's alarming for both teams, really, for them to have both of those. So it was a remarkable turnaround for the Fever as they were able to go into halftime with the lead, an 18-0 run for them during that stretch. And then at halftime, it was not a quiet one. No, right in front of me here on the court is where Red Panda went down. She climbed on the ladder, got on her unicycle, kind of got it going for about 5 seconds, where all of a sudden lost her balance and plopped down, fell straight down on her rear, braced herself clearly with her left hand, and that wrist forearm area was giving her fits. Clearly something not right there, as she tried to walk it off, but then kind of sat down there on the baseline before a wheelchair was brought in. Source told me that she was taken to the hospital for evaluation and tests, and then I thought it was noteworthy and kind of cool too. Post game, they went in on the Fever went live on several of the players' Instagrams, including Sydney Colson, and that's where Caitlin Clark was saying, "Hey, we love you, Red Panda, we love you." So notable shout out. Brianna Turner tweeted something about Red Panda as well. Yeah, she's an icon. She's a Hall of Famer when it comes to halftime acts, and unfortunately, the fans here at the Target Center were not treated to it. And by the way, it's notable that the Lynx called this a sellout. Less than 13,000 fans, 12,778. But there were wildly tons of open seats. I guess found out here tonight that they don't sell all of their seats. They don't sell many of these up in the balcony. I counted at least 14 sections that were basically empty, a lot of empty suites as well. I'm surprised they did not choose to fill it up to whatever the capacity, 18,000 is. Again, this is an NBA arena, home of the Timberwolves, but still, the crowd that was here, remarkably strong. And to that point, though, however, it was another indication of that great tagline by the Fever, every game is a home game, because a remarkable number of the crowd were Fever fans, Caitlin Clark fans, and such, and as a byproduct of that, rooting for this team to have success. And so when this final buzzer sounded, loud cheers, loud roars as the Fever were able to celebrate this championship. And it was treated much like a normal one. I'm talking t-shirts, I'm talking hats, a podium, an MVP award given out. They had a photo shoot after the game. This, I think, also more than anything goes back to Adam Silver, NBA commissioner, who really loves having multiple awards and recipients and championships to contend for throughout a season. He's a big guy about soccer overseas, where they have all those different cups. I don't follow him, but I know there's multiple cups and championships throughout the season. And so while you may not win the WNBA championship or the Ultimate Championship, you can also at least get, say, this one in season. You never know how it might catapult you here moving forward. But the Fever got it done. Again, the 5th different winner in 5 years for this Commissioner's Cup. And I thought it was incredibly remarkable how the Fever played those middle 2 quarters, first of all, where they outscored them 40-22. That's where they took that big double-digit lead, ultimately able to stretch it out to 15 points for the win. But they held in strong defensively. They played with physicality. They were the more physical team. Natasha Howard, yes, you can mention her point total and box score, but what she did defensively was also incredibly important because Napheesa Collier is an MVP candidate. She probably was the odds-on favorite to win it entering this season. She was held to 12 points. 4 of those were throwaway points at the very end of the game. 6 of 18 from the field, didn't make a 3, did have 9 rebounds in this one, but for her to do what she doesn't normally do, being held below that was a huge win for the Fever team. Combine that with the fact that the Fever got contributions from all over. That was a wildly successful night for this Indiana Fever team. We saw the Lynx get to within 7. It was 58-45. But then, after a Fever timeout, it was a 6-0 burst, a couple of layups, a quick jump shot, and all of a sudden, the Fever had moved ahead by 13. 58-45 was the score thereafter. The Lynx had cut it to 7, and from there on out, it was all Fever. Cunningham hit a dagger. I thought Kelsey Mitchell maybe did too as well. Even Collier so upset, got into it a little bit with Aaliyah Boston with a few choice words, but you got to love the physical nature of that, the emotional nature. Look, it showed that this game meant something for all of them, and the Fever able to get it done. You loved what they did defensively. Turnovers were a problem. Gave it away 18 times, but it didn't cost them the game because we saw the Minnesota Lynx held to 35% shooting, 4 of 16 from three-point range, and by the way, they turned it over 16 times themselves. And then afterwards, they had that big celebration on the court, and it spilled over into the locker room post-game. It was mostly closed. We couldn't really see what was going on, but you could see in videos posted that Caitlin Clark was kind of in control of the cup and making sure everybody drank out of it. They were passing around champagne. They were cheersing. Everybody within the team got in on that fun, as you should. It has been a challenging, difficult, emotional, inconsistent first month and a half to this season from the Fever. But now they head home for their next 5 games. They have 7 more games remaining before the All-Star break in Indianapolis, where all of us will be. And first, 5 straight at home. Then they go on the road at Boston Garden against Connecticut, then at Brooklyn against the Liberty, and a back-to-back, which is tough, leading into the All-Star break. We don't know when Caitlin Clark will return. You hope sooner than later, yet at the same time, you also wouldn't mind if she's out for a week. They make do in the meantime, and then she's good for the rest of the year, because what you want to prevent is lingering issues. You had the quad strain in camp. Then now you're dealing with a left groin injury, which sounds uncomfortable, sounds nasty, sounds like you wanted to get it taken care of. And that's all probably going to take rest. She's been out just under a week now. And so we'll see if she continues to miss a couple more games at least. She was here, obviously, in celebration and such, but unable to contribute on the court. And I got to love, as we go back, this was how I'm going to lead my story at fieldhousefiles.com. How, remember, she sat there in that video room after accepting being told she's an all-star starter, telling Kathleen Engelberg that, hey, we're going to go there and get the dub, and that's exactly what the Fever did. 74-59 the win at the Target Center. Glad to be here and give you all the coverage at fieldhousefiles.com, on my YouTube page and social media channels as well.